Thank you. Okay, we're ready, guys.
All right, awesome. So here we go. Is that full screen? Is that okay? Here we go. So this is a little bit of the information that we're going to be covering today. I wanted to do an overview slide because, this can be a little bit overwhelming for things. So we're just basically going to be talking easy language here. What is the CTA? Who does it apply to? What must be reported? Why is it important? Filing deadlines. How does it empower us as entrepreneurs? Best practices for staying compliant. And of course, I'm going to share the resources that you need, the websites and everything else that FinCEN has put up for you. So what is the Corporate Transparency Act? So it is part of the Anti-Money Laundering Act of 2021, and it was enacted to combat illegal financial activities like money laundering and terrorism financing. So we need to disclose who owns what. So I'm sure you've all heard some sort of story where you have had a business where you don't even know who the owners are, or you've had to look them up and you don't know who the owners are. As a lawyer, I quite often do that because I am the agent for someone. I can go in there, I can draft all the articles. The only information that's on there is my firm's name and my name. And so if people are looking for who's the owner of this company, I don't know what they're doing. Because even in Ohio, we don't even have to put in a purpose clause for what our company is doing. So how do we find that out? We could be doing anything. And so the government then said, well, there's a lot of issues here with money laundering and, where are people getting guns and drugs and everything from. So of course they decided, okay, well then we're going to make it so that everybody has to disclose who their owners are. And that's why this was enacted. So who does this apply to? It applies to corporations, LLCs, or similar entities registered in the United States, especially like solo businesses, startups, as well as foreign companies who are registered to do business. However, there are some exemptions. So there are different types like nonprofits who are, or publicly traded companies who have they have their shareholders. They disclose who they are, and it doesn't apply to companies that have 20 plus employees or having revenue of $5 million. So basically, all of us here, we have to do it because we're small. So I'm going to move on to this. What must be reported? But I'm going to tell you a story first. So I am a serial entrepreneur, and I brought cupcakes today because I'm going to be starting a cottage business for cupcakes, right? I call them my garden party. And I also do pet treats for my cavaliers who have multiple food allergies. So I have food allergy kid, pets with food allergies. So I'm all about that. But one of the things that I'm considering is, if I start doing this on my own, I know as a lawyer, I'm a sole proprietor. And I can start a business today doing cupcakes. But if I'm going to be really serious about it, I'm going to say, I think I'm going to start an LLC. And if I want to start an LLC, who do I want to be a part of my LLC? Do I want to do it by myself? But I think it would be a good idea to have my son join me because he's in college and he's learning marketing, and like having someone on my team who could do marketing, but who has an invested interest in this business because this business is for him, right? Should I make him a member? And then I have my parents and my boyfriend who want to give me money. And they're like, we want to invest in your business. Should I make them a member too? Well, okay, this is possible, right? But then it comes down to who's going to be the majority owner? How are we going to divide ownership? And this got me thinking, and I said, this is perfectly appropriate for this presentation because this is what's happening to me right now. Like deciding the membership percentages of my company. So if I have 50% ownership, my son has 25 and my boyfriend has 25, well, what does that mean? They all go on the form. I got to disclose all of our membership interests because we are all beneficial owners of the business. So now when you think of cupcakes and you're doing this form, you're going to remember. So please eat a cupcake. It's all about the cupcake in this one, Teresa. So this is actually a really easy form, and I do have a slide on the next one so that you can see it. You need your legal names of all your beneficial owners. Remember, 25% ownership. DBAs, trade names of your company. Your jurisdiction of formation. If you are formed here in Ohio, if you formed in Kentucky, you were formed in California, and in your address, your residential address, your tax ID number, or your social security number if you're a sole prop, or if you had an EIN registered as a sole prop. You just have to have your tax ID, as well as your driver's license and or your passport number. And you do have to upload an image of that. And of course, your date of birth. Did everybody get this slide?
We can move the photos so that they can see the bottom of the slide.
Okay.
Let me just see.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I
do need to say this because you get your EIN through the government, not through Ohio Secretary of State. You have to go to the IRS.gov and apply for an EIN number. Yeah, if you so like say like right. So like if you went to, because you have to go to the Ohio Secretary of State to file your articles. And then you go to irs.gov to register to apply for and obtain your EIN number. Back in the day, they didn't have the wizard like they do now. And if you don't know your EIN number, you can always call them. And then you have to submit documentation that you are who you are, or you answer questions. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, they send you a letter. They do send you a letter after a few months so that it has your number on it. But if you don't have your letter, you can always contact the IRS and ask for that letter.
Yeah, I'm trying to move the box. Thank you. Trying to drag it. There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. There we go.
So I'm glad that I got to see that because I forgot about this on the bottom. So like so when I was doing this, and I was doing this recently, I was like, oh, this is so much information, and I have so many different companies. Oh, and then I saw, oh, you can get a FinCEN identifying number. So you're not having to put in all your information at once every single time, especially if you have multiple businesses and you don't really want to do this, so that you can just put it in once, get a FinCEN ID number. So then all the other subsequent years that we need to report, you just use your FinCEN number. It's a FinCEN ID number. Like, so like if you, and I'll show you on the website, there's a block on there that says that you can get a number. So what you do is you can, on your initial report, there's a box to check that you can say you want if it's an identifying number. And then you submit all the same information, but then they give you one ID number so that every time you have to go into a report, to log in, you just add in your FinCEN number and continue on with the form. So you don't have to keep putting in the same information all the time. So, let's see, where's the next one? Oops. Okay, so here's what the form looks like. So remember I was talking about here, your filing information, here, then they have this. So see, it says right here, need help, request, and the number 3, you can see where I'm pointing right here. It says request to receive FinCEN ID. And then this just, oops, sorry, I'm a Mac user. That this is the first 2 pages of the report. Just kind of give you an idea of like, it literally just takes you like half an hour. But if you know what the information that you need ahead of time, it just takes a shorter amount of time. And I will tell you this, we're in September. We're right before the holidays. The last thing you want to do is be thinking about this on December 31st. So I'm glad we're having this. This is very, very timely. Does anybody have any questions about the form? I guess it depends on who, like sometimes like it's neat to like just print it out so you can see it all and be like, okay, this is all this information that I need to get and make sure I have it all together and I can fill it out so I can do it here first before I actually do it online. But some people like me are just like, I'll just do it online. I'm a fast reader, so it'll be fine. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so she was asking about whether or not she should print the form or go directly and put all the information directly online. So. We'll have to do it continually. Yeah, because like we have to keep them updated with ownership. So hang on, we're not done. We're not done. We're not done. I shouldn't have said that. We'll do any questions at the end. So that's my fault. That's the lawyer in me saying, oh yeah, do you understand? Oh yeah, no, we're doing questions at the end. Sorry guys on Zoom. I included this slide because people are like, this is even me. I was like, this is another thing that I have to do for my business. Luckily, in Ohio, we don't have to do quarterly reporting, but those in Kentucky are used to doing quarterly reporting. And this is just another added thing that you have to do. But overall, what is it? How does it benefit us? It actually helps us with different things. Like, for example, like the whole reason why they enacted the CTA is so that they could combat financial money laundering, those things. But another side benefit is record keeping. I'm one of those lawyers who says, I don't care if you are a single member LLC, you should always have an operating agreement. Why is that? Because what if something happens to you and your family has to go through your documents and figure out what to do? It has on the last page, a lot of the times, your membership percentages. Who owns what? Like, remember my story about the cupcakes? Who, if I wanted to have multiple people in my LLC, what is their membership percentages? That would be in there. So if something happened to you, or you forgot that somebody was investing in, you wouldn't forget, but just, for story's sake, you forgot that so-and-so invested 25% into your business when you started it 20 years ago and you forgot. Oh goodness. At least in your operating agreement, it says so-and-so has a 25% interest. Oh, I better call them up and get their information because I've got to report it. Additionally, if there are any changes to your membership interests or ownership interests, I should say, you need to update it with the government. And it also, of course, it helps with protecting our businesses because it makes harder for illegitimate businesses to operate. So we are going to be talking about filing deadlines. And this is why I said, do it now. You don't want to be thinking about it December during the holidays. Come January 5th, and you're like, oh my God, I forgot to file. Because on the next slide, you're going to see why. Put it in your calendars right now. Get this done. Our filing deadline is January 1st. They did used to have it December 31st, and now they moved it up to January 1st. Because you know, for New Year's Eve, that thing's gonna crash. And because of everybody who's doing it last minute, right? So, since we all have business already, we have until January 1st. Now, remember my cupcake story? If I decide to start an LLC now in 2024, then I have 90 days to fill out this information. So not only do I have to do all my articles, obtain my EIN, then I also have to do this. So it's an added thing. And then next year in 2025, you only have 30 days. But businesses now in 2024 and 2025 and beyond, here's what is different. Me as a lawyer, I'm going to start a new business for you, Carol. And we're going to file your articles, and we're going to get your EIN. We're going to do your trademark search and all of that fabulous stuff. So then I'm going to say, hey, you've got to do your BOIR. But you have to list me as your lawyer as the applicant, because I'm the one who filed. So remember how I was saying in the Secretary of State records, anybody can start an LLC and have their lawyers, just their lawyer's name on there. Well, now there's no anonymity anymore with that. You have to disclose who you are and whoever applied. So if I have Kai apply for my articles so that he can get, Kai's my son, so that he can get experience starting a new business, he has to put his name as the applicant on the form. So things to remember. All right, this is why I'm telling you, do it now. Do it now. You can be fined $500 a day for not doing it. $10,000 maximum. You can also be put in jail for up to 5 years or $250,000 fine. So I wanted to include this: violations. Willfully failing to file a report. Now, willfully in legalese means you did not do it. Remember, ignorance of the law is not a defense. Willfully not doing it. Oh, I got busy. You did not do it. You willfully did not do it. You're providing false or inaccurate beneficial ownership information. That means that 25% owner that you forgot invested in your business, you forgot to put them on the form. Oh no. And then unauthorized disclosure of beneficials. So, oh, I put Kai as 100% owner of Villalba Firm. Oh yeah, that's not, that's me lying. Yeah, so when do we do this? We do it now. We don't wait, because that's why I'm like, I know me, like once Halloween starts, like mid-October, I'm in holiday mode, you know. And then when Thanksgiving and Christmas, because I have my son's birthday on Christmas Eve, my mom, my dog, my sister, the big family Christmas and New Year's, I don't want to be thinking about this. I'm planning for next year. So do it now. When do we do it? Oh, thank you. So I wanted to put this again, you know, how does this empower us? It levels the playing field. It enhances trust and credibility. and helps promote fair competition. So I was like, yeah, it actually, I like this because then it's like taking the blinders off of everybody. And we're like, oh yeah, that's right. You're legit. And I'm seeing this trend with entrepreneurs whose core values are integrity. This actually goes straight to that core value of integrity, but it also helps those people who are not so great at record keeping, who are solopreneurs, single member LLCs without an operating agreement, to kind of get their act together. And then so it also, like, I would say, like, with going back to that integrity, you're like, I trust this person. This person's has an an ethical business. They're thinking that way. I'm going to invest in this business. I'm going to do business with this person. It just makes you feel a lot better. You're like, oh, I don't know what you're doing. This could be a front. Everybody has a facade in some way. Okay, so this is one of the ways that we can stay compliant. Remember what I was telling you about? Get all of your records together. If you're a single member LLC, please get an operating agreement, because you can also use it as an estate plan, and that's subject for another time. But you can also make sure that, say you're a single member LLC. Remember how I was talking about the cupcakes, right? Say it's just me for now. And then I add in Kai, and then I add in Stan, but then somebody comes in with like 500K and says, I want to invest a ton into your business because I can see a franchise model for this, right? And say they say, but contingent upon a 25% interest. Well, I've got to record that, and now I've got to update FinCEN within 30 days of me selling those membership interests so that we're disclosing. So record keeping is a must. You can also have different internal processes. If you have someone who's like a VA or an assistant, or somebody in your company that handles procedures, that it's just a normal thing. Like, hey, our annual meeting. Most people don't have an annual meeting, but maybe you should, because then you can be like, oh, that's right. We're going to do some funding, and we're going to start selling membership interests. We got to update that stuff. So this is so appropriate that you and I are talking today. You can also consider working with a lawyer using compliance software, but just the best thing you can do is to stay informed. And this group is fabulous about keeping everybody informed, and your Facebook group for letting everybody know of any changes, because we have so many really smart people in here. We love to share. Okay, this is what you need. This is where you go. They have an FAQ page. This is the URL. This is the actual homepage, and they also have a YouTube video on that that has all the information that you need. And I was going through it, and I was like, oh, they've done a really good job. And the reason why I've waited until now is because I'm a lawyer. And what do lawyers do? There's early adopter lawyers who will test it out and say, it's not working. I'm having a hard time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, by September, they're going to be fine, and I'll be able to file it. And you're laughing because you know it too. So like, finally, it's funny because like in my lawyer groups, they're all like, okay, I think it's finally done. It's really easy. And then I did it myself, and I have 8 companies, and it was a breeze. So definitely, if you have like questions about doing the form or whatever, this website is a phenomenal resource for you, especially the YouTube video. It's like you can just click through. And then you can even just play around. You can download the form, you can fill it out, all of that. So yeah, so that's about it. And that's it. Thank you. And I forgot to add my JD LLM, but I'm a multiple serial entrepreneur. You can always email me, reach out to me if you want to connect or anything like that. That's my contact information on there. And I hope this was really informative. And I hope it made you not be so intimidated by it and made you laugh, because you know what? I want you to think cupcake. Yes. Membership interest, because my job is to empower you. Yes, Cheryl.
Right afterwards. I know we're running out of time, and I want to honor all of our attendees online as well. So why don't we go on to Shannon? Thank you. You're
welcome.
amazing.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
so much. I'd like to pull up. Let's see here. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to stop sharing. And hello, hello. I hope you guys gained some valuable information here with Shannon Villalba. Shannon, did I do that better? Let's see here. Nope, I don't want that one. I need to pull up share screen. All right. I've got to, I'm going to mute myself for Thank you so much. Okay, let's get this party started. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that we have an empowerment house here today to help us navigate technology. So I am excited to introduce our next speaker. She is the newest success team member here at Beautiful Faces Going Places Women's Success Network, Kyanna Garrett. She is a funding specialist and business development manager at Motivate Enterprises. Kyanna and her team are committed to empowering underserved communities through financial literacy. Kyanna has over 29 years of experience in corporate accounting and finance with a BS in business administration, specializing in economics and finance. Kyanna realized that there was a huge need to provide funding solutions for small business owners. Who in here would like more information on funding opportunities so that we can grow and enhance our businesses? She decided to train in the field of business lending to become a business funding specialist. She's going to be sharing strategies and opportunities in terms of cash flow advances, term loans, business lines of credit, working capital loans, startup funding, equipment leasing and loans, real estate investment funding, SBA loans. So please help me welcome Kyanna Garrett. Aww. You are amazing, my friend.
Thank you all for being here today. I really appreciate your presence. As Carol mentioned, I am a new member of the Beautiful Faces Going Places Network, and from day one, it's felt like home for me. So it's a privilege to be here today, and thank you so much. As Carol mentioned, that was a great introduction. Yes, I am the founder and CEO of Motivate Enterprises. Just to give a quick backstory on the business name of Motivate. So I'm a mom of 7 children. Back in 2008, I had decided to do something about my weight and my health because I was a busy mom. I also had a career, a growing career. So I decided to get in shape. So I signed up for a local gym, and they had a boot camp program. So I'm like, I'm gonna go all in, I'm gonna do it. I was really nervous though. I had never did any type of group fitness before, but I had to do something, right? Needed to feel better about myself, as moms, that ladies know. So the day that I was my first day at the gym, I'm pulling out my garage. I came up from work, I changed into my workout clothes. I'm going in the garage, I pull out, and then my kids, my husband, we only had 4 at the time. He lined them up in the driveway, and they're like, "Dude." So I was needless to say, I drove to the gym in tears, just crying because I was so happy that my children were supportive, my husband was supportive of something that I was doing for me, and also for them. I couldn't pour from an empty cup. I couldn't be at my best if I didn't feel at my best. So I was just so happy, and I was just so full of joy. So I went to the boot camp, got my butt kicked that day, but I came home, and that night I was really sore, but I couldn't sleep. I was restless, but there was so much more on my mind that night. So that night is when Motivate was born. I was thinking about my children, and all I could see are their little faces and their little clapping hands and telling me, "Mommy, you can do it." And I said, one day I'm going to form a business, and I'm going to call it Motivate. I didn't know what I was going to do at the time. Hadn't had an idea of, what type of business I wanted to do, but I just knew I was going to call it Motivate because of that day with my children, how much they motivated me in that day to do something better for myself. So that's the backstory on Motivate. It's spelled a little different. That's a whole nother story, but I get that question asked a lot. What does Motivate Enterprises mean? So that's what that is. The motivation I get from my children. Carol did touch on it. I do have a BSBA in business administration with specializations in finance and economics. So I have 26 years of financial services background. I've worked in maybe every major bank that there is to work for in Northeast Ohio, from consumer lending to asset management, retail banking, corporate relocation, and my last corporate job, I was a cash manager for a company in their client services division. So today we are going to talk about business funding. Business funding is something that's near and dear to my heart because as being a business owner, I know the struggles. I almost went bankrupt when I first started my business, trying to fund my business out of my pocket. I wanted to help everyone, so I was buying computers and delivering them myself to everyone because I just wanted to help everybody, and it was not a smart decision. But that's how it got started. So just to go a little bit back about where Motivate started, I didn't originally start out as a business funding consultancy. I started out as a remote call center. So that came about out of necessity. Again, having 7 children, when I was going through my career stages, it was really hard. I always had that mom guilt, about having to choose an early morning project meeting when I was up with a sick child all night, so I couldn't call off because I had to be there. I was heading the project meeting. And that got really tough for me because I didn't want to let down my colleagues. I didn't want to let down my clients, but I also didn't want to let down my family. So that 2008 moment where I was working out and that Motivate just stayed in my mind. Here, while I was going through all these things, is when Motivate started to form, So over the years, I had a friend introduce me to the remote call center industry, and I was like, oh, that sounds interesting. I just kind of put it on the back burner, didn't think too much about it. But as my family continued to grow, I just one day, just got into my computer and got the information she sent me on it. And I'm like, you know what, this sounds like something I would want to do. This sounds like something that I can do, but also I can help others with, caretaker, people who, have family members they have to take care of, a mother, single mother, or single father who needs a second job. This is something that could help them. So I decided, oh, now I have a business plan. I have something that I can do because whatever I did, I wanted to help. So I, in my last position as a cash manager, I got pregnant again, my 10-year anniversary. I got my husband a watch and he got me a brand new baby girl. So, so that's how it was. Yeah. But, that was one of the best moments for me, having my little girl. It was a very rough pregnancy. So my decision to leave corporate was just starting to solidify. It was really becoming concrete for me that this was the direction I needed to go in. I really needed to make Motivate a reality. So my husband and I, we made the rough decision, the tough decision for me to resign from my position. And I just dove headfirst into Motivate Enterprises. So I started out as the sole agent for my firm, my remote call center agency. And my husband, we would we made flyers and we would go and around the city and we would post, our agency ads all over the town on telephone poles and whatnot, just, trying to drum up some business. I didn't have any clue about marketing back then or anything like that. So we just did a grassroots effort in trying to get additional agents for our company. So it was just me for a while. Then eventually family and friends started to get word of, oh, I hear you have work from home opportunities. Yes, I got my first client, then I got my second client. I'm like, oh, I really need some agents because I couldn't handle this all by myself. So I eventually did start to get more agents through just regular recruiting myself and through word of mouth through family and friends. And so I was eventually able to build my agency to over 53 active agents that provided services for the clients that we provide service for. We were contracted for companies like Airbnb, Carnival Cruise Line, Barnes and Noble, Walgreens. There were a lot of companies, Citibank, that we provided call center services for. And the agents were trained from home and they worked from home. My job was to manage the agents and just to make sure that they were showing up for their shifts on time. They were meeting their weekly 15-minute requirement and things of that nature. Oh, but then what happened? March 2020. No, I didn't get pregnant. Yeah. Yeah, didn't get pregnant. Yeah. That probably would have been the best guess, but no, COVID happened. And at that time, again, we were providing services for two industries that were hit hard by COVID. That's the travel industry, Airbnb, and also Carnival Cruise Line. That's where we were contracted with. So we pretty much lost all our business. So I went down from 53 active agents to just 2, me and one other agent, when all of our contracts were lost. So I had to pivot. I had to think about something else I had to do. I was really depressed for a while because I'm like, Motivate is my baby. What do I do now? I built this up and it's all my blood, sweat, and tears. And what am I going to do? Still wanted to help people. So I decided to get more education. So I went and I got my I became a certified bookkeeper. I decided that I still wanted to be in the industry of business because my agents, sometimes they will come to me, they wanted to start their own agencies. They wanted to go on their own, start their own entrepreneurial journey. So they would come to me and ask me to help with their business formation and things of that nature. And I'm like, I don't know. So I just, but this is what the things that people were coming to me for. So I found myself coaching others on how to start their businesses and start their entrepreneurial journey. But the big piece that was missing was the funding piece, the piece that almost put me in a back position, as far as being a new business owner and being a part of that 82% failure rate that happens with businesses in the US that fail and it fell only solely due to lack of funding. So this is what I needed to focus on. So I thought, well, maybe if I got my bookkeeping certification, I could start helping businesses just get a better understanding of their financial position. And that's where we started. So I did that. And then I was like, I think I need to take it a step further. I need to also be able to help businesses not only have a firm understanding of their financial positions, I need to help them also to learn how to build business credit. But I hadn't built it for myself. So I dove headfirst into that. And I learned the business lending, the business credit industry. And then I'm like, okay, so now I have that. Now what else do I do? I did not have, I'm sorry, you know what? I was supposed to start this with a presentation so you guys can have a better idea of what I'm just going on rambling, giving you a back story. So I'm just gonna, I just need to go back to the previous slide and we'll start that.
We just go like this. No. Let's see here. We are,
I do see the PowerPoint down
oh,
there.
you do. Okay, let me see. Here's my little button. Let's just go. No, that's different. This,
That's the slide before that.
oh. I think we can just do this button here.
Okay.
Yeah,
There we go.
So
It's
is
this.
that left or right? There we
Okay,
go.
perfect.
Okay.
All right, so it doesn't have, there we go. So, okay, we can get people funded now. But I've started to notice that most of the people the clients that I was getting, they weren't funding ready, meaning the finances were in order, but the credit wasn't. So now I had to learn something else. I had to learn credit. So I became a licensed credit services organization in the state of Ohio. I was recently licensed by the Department of Commerce, Ohio Department of Commerce, this March as a licensed credit services organization. So now I'm feeling I have the full package. I can help the client to restore their credit, their consumer credit. I can also help them build their business credit. And now we're rolling because now we open the gates to funding, the business funding. And that's where it happens. That's where all the magic happens, where you get the funding. You start off with startups, $150,000 to $250,000 lines of credit that they can use for marketing, to buy brick and mortar establishments, e-commerce, buy more inventory, things of that nature. Whatever you needed to do, you can do a lot with $150,000 as a startup, right? So I didn't start there. So I was happy to be able to get clients to that point where they started out with a good amount of funding so that they can continue to grow their business. So let's just watch a quick video that I want to share with them so you can get a better idea. So that is what we do in a nutshell. So basically, I don't know if you noticed that it doesn't really matter sometimes about the credit because we do fund according to the business's strengths and not their weaknesses. So we can work on their weaknesses and then we can still get them funding. We have loan products that are available to help them while we're working on restoring their consumer credit, or we're helping them build their business credit profile. So just say that you're a business, you have high credit card sales. So then that's a strength that you have because we can use that, the sales that you get, the revenue from the credit card sales from your e-commerce business or whatever business you have to help get you funded so that you can get whatever you need to get done and bridge to the next step in your business. So I don't want people to think, a lot of people don't know that you don't have to have perfect credit. My consultancy, we basically do real estate investment funding. I deal with a lot of new investors and seasoned investors as well, units 1 to 4 unit properties that we help them to get the funding that they need for their projects. And not just real estate investment, we're also specialized in startup funding. So, but in between established businesses, we have loan products for every small business, and we can meet every small business needs once we get a firm understanding of their financial situation. So as we do what is called a ratio analysis. And a ratio analysis in bookkeeping is just something that we do after we've balanced all of your accounts and we've reconciled your accounts and we have a firm understanding of your financial statements. We do a ratio analysis, and this what a ratio analysis is a company's ability, the company's liquidity. It also gives us a good insight into their operational efficiency and their profitability. So we do this by comparing the line items on their financial statements so that we can kind of see, hey, you're not doing this inventory is not selling too well, or this, service is something that should we shelf it because you're not really making any money off of it. We just kind of help get them a plan so that they can start making informed decisions about their business. And so when they get the funding, they can make really informed decisions on how they're going to use those funds. It won't.
The video was very impactful and powerful, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, let's see here. I think no, it won't move. Okay. Well, maybe what we'll do is, there you go, Kyanna. Was that your?
Yeah, that was, no, that was just the end of the video.
Okay. Okay.
Oh,
I don't know where you'd like to go.
no, that's fine.
But I know, we're almost at the top of the hour.
Okay, so I'll wrap it up.
We'll open up for Q&A and then open up
Okay.
our Zoom room.
All right.
I think we've got questions for you.
Oh, perfect. Just to show you guys, here's a quick picture of my wives, my family. We're missing one. This is my oldest daughter and I recently, and this is her husband and my oldest grandson. And then this is my little, that's my youngest grandson. He's my most recent motivator. So just to give you guys just a quick glimpse into my life and why I keep going. Thank you. I have two grandsons, Gianni and Kyson. So so we can wrap this up, I'm going to show you some recent fundings that we just recently did for some clients. We were able to get an insurance company down in Florida, a 12-month term loan for $460,000. The client used these funds to consolidate an existing loan and to renovate and update one of their locations. And another one in August that we recently did, we were able to get a client who had a towing business funded for $275,000. It only took 1 week to get this client funded. And they were able to use the fund to expand their operations by hiring new employees and also acquiring additional trucks to enhance their fleet. So these are the type of loan products that we are able to offer. We have unsecured working capital loans, business lines of credit, equipment and accounts receivable financing, fix and flip loans, commercial real estate funding, and SBA term loans. The SBA term loans are a little bit more complicated and they do require that we do a lot of restoration of credit and making sure that you look good on paper with the SBA loans, but everything else has very more lenient lending requirements. These are some of the industries that we approve, we are able to approve funding. I don't know if you guys are able to see that, but that is just one of the, so we have medical spas on there, restaurants, we have bakeries for Shannon, who has the cupcake business. Those are just, it's a long list of companies that we're able to provide services for. So we have the telecom industry and communication companies, breweries, wineries, wholesale companies. So we work with a wide range of clients. We have a nationwide lender base. I've formed relationships with a lot of lenders across the United States that are able to provide this variety of loan products that we have to be able to meet our clients' needs. Okay, so those are the industries that we work with to provide funding for. And here is my information. It only takes a minute to see whether or not you qualify for funding. On my website, you go there, you can scan the code, put in your information, and then it'll tell you, hey, we either can get you funded or we need to take you to the next step, which would be to help get you some things cleared up before we can get you funded. And again, credit restoration is free for all of our clients. I do not charge for credit restoration. I am not a credit repair company. I am a licensed credit service organization, bonded and licensed through the state of Ohio. So we don't do any of that crazy stuff here. So you can also schedule a consultation. If you're not ready to apply for funding, you can schedule a consultation and we can do a deep dive into your finances, and we can get a better understanding of where you stand, and I can just get a good grasp of what your goals are so that we can see how we can best assist you. But that is pretty much what we do. I'm glad I had the video so I can cut down the presentation, but that's pretty much what we have. And thank you again for your time and your ears and for listening to. You're welcome.
So Shannon and Kyanna, just stay up here.
Okay.
So let me just do this little stop screen share. That was an amazing presentation. I loved both presentations, and the information was just outstanding. Thank you so much. Is it Dienfa Okoro? Thank you so much for hanging in there with us. I will be sending out the recording as well as the PowerPoint presentations if Shannon and Kyanna are willing. And to say thank you so much for joining us today. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to close out the Zoom room unless, Dienfa, you have a question for Shannon or for Kyanna here. If you,
No.
go squeeze in here. Do you have a question?
No, it was a really nice presentation. Thank you both.
Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.